Welcome to a new video at K-Trading, my dears. Today's video, it's about a free indicator, or rather two that I want to show you, which are incredibly ingenious. I know I already showing another indicator, but this time it's again about something where I say it is amazing. I've introduced LuxAlgo Premium a lot the last few times. Not everyone wants to afford it. It's not going to leave my side. I've just taken a few more add-ons, free ones, which I'll show you now so that you can use them. If you stay tuned until the end of the video, I'll also show you how to combine Smart Money Concept, the free version of LuxAlgo, so that you know where you can close a trade or take partial profits, so that you can set the stop loss to break even, for example, and then see how it goes on. Not only that, we also take a look, and this is very important to me because many people always want to trade Bitcoin or Ethereum. But they make so less percentages on a price movement for the most part that it doesn't really pay off, and then you think to yourself that the indicator isn't working. That's why I'm also going to show you a trick for finding really volatile coins, which of course change all the time, but where you can potentially pick up really good percentages. Let's start now with the charts, where I'll explain everything to you in detail. In other words, I'm just using the Bitcoin USDT hourly chart as a small example so that you can see why I say I don't want to trade it. We're just going to start with the indicators. The very first thing we do is just go into the indicators, go to technicals, and then scroll down to the indicators and take the technical. Where do we have it? Here, technical ratings. The technical ratings, just so that you know briefly what this is about, so that you also understand a bit of background, what it's all about. Just all moving averages, so that I pronounce it correctly. Ichimoku Cloud, the RSI is included, the stochastic is included, the commodity channel, average direction index, awesome oscillator, momentum, MACD, stochastic RSI, Williams percent, bull and bear power, ultimate oscillator. All of this is included in the indicator and was simply packed into gray, blue and red lines. Unbelievable. And you'll see how brilliant it is when you use it in combination with another indicator, which I'll introduce to you in a moment. Let's start with the settings. In this case, you have this table, this panel here on the right, if you can see it. And there you can set which time frames do I want to have. If people trade in high time frames, it's of course good how it's set. Personally, however, I trade in small time frames. I'll show you why I use 15 minutes in this case, and then I do 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Then I'm interested in the hour, and in this case, the 4 hours, because if 4 hours is also bullish, then I just know that things are really taking off, and that's pretty much it. You can still see the colors. You can see the colors here with the bars. Light blue is a buy signal. Dark blue is a strong buy signal. I don't want to explain neutral. And bright red is a normal sell signal. And this is a strong sell signal. Then simply click here on the three dots. You can set the buy and sell alerts here. Every time a candle closes, if you set it up like this, once per bar close, you get a buy signal, a strong buy or a sell or strong sell. It is therefore very, very ingenious to use. And you don't have to be on the chart all the time, you just wait for signals. That's the first one. Now you have here on the right. But why does it now show the 60 minutes at the top? Every time you're on the chart, I can go to 30, for example. It still shows you your current chart at the top. You see, now we have 5, 15, 60, 30, and 30 is still at the top. Just as a small example. Now comes the second indicator, and we simply go into the Nadaraya-Watson Rational Quadratic Kernel No Repaint. Yes, that's important, from JDE Horty. That is very important. I'm trying to, well, I've actually already done that in the background, but I'll see that I can publish that for you. Then there's the K, Nadaraya-Watson Kernel, No Repaint and Correct Alerts, but why? We'll just put that one in now, simply because if you want to set an alert here on the Nadaraya, the bearish alert is actually the bullish alert, and the bullish alert is actually the bearish alert. So if you enter a bearish alert here, you just have to enter bullish at the bottom, and you know, hey, this line has just become bullish and vice versa. That's because it's in the wrong place. I fixed that for myself now. Then in the settings, we don't actually do anything other than click on the smooth color slack. This is very important because it simply takes out false signals. Now, what are the entry points? What do we take here and what confirms us? In principle, we simply wait until both are red or green. In other words, let's take this as an example of a short position. Here, this line at the top has turned red, the Nadaraya, and at the bottom we already have the second candle, which is red. This means that a strong sell has already occurred here, and that would give us an opportunity to enter. And as long as nothing turns bullish below or the line crosses green here or turns green, there is also the possibility of simply staying in, because there is a very high chance that the chart will continue to go down. In this case, that would have been the entry here, and you would have made 0.6% in 1 day and 5 hours until the exit, where everything turns green. Not much, of course. And that's what I want to show you now. Why? Which is why I said I wouldn't trade Bitcoin. Even the maximum wasn't much at 1.38%. But I'll show you how to find great coins that are really volatile, where you can make up for it in 1 or 2 hours, if not lesser time. I personally trade this in 10x. And with 10x, of course, if you make 1 or 2%, that's 10 or 20% that you get out of it. That's quite a lot. So, before we go any further with the explanation, very briefly, how do you proceed here? You can already see from the performance how good it actually is. Minimal false signals. And when a false signal comes, as in this case here, candle close, both are bullish, a counter signal comes, and just a small example of a false signal. But 0.44% for Bitcoin is a small loss, which I will show you. Not much different with other coins. But you would then have a loss of 0.4% here or 4% at 10x, while the next trade in the case where both are confirmed is slightly down to the confirmation 5.21% that you should get out again. And what I mean by that is that you have very, very less false signals. Or if these are false signals, they are really limited in terms of loss. Again, no, you wouldn't go short here because everything is still blue. You don't even need to look inside. But let's just move on. Where can I find good coins to trade now? You go to CoinMarketCap. And it's really, really easy to say, hey, I need a lot of volatility. Then you just click here in the last 7 days in terms of percentage. And then you can see what has happened here. And then you get really, really good trades here, i.e. really good coins that have made massive percentages. Of course, you can also say, I want to know who has lost the most. You can do the same if you click up again. But let's just stick to the bullish coins for now. We have the TON here, the Telegram coin. We have Rune, we have WeChain. And as you can see, they've already made quite a few percentages. Let's take TON as a small example. I don't even know whether it's already available as a perpetual for trading. Yes, it works. Let's go into TON now. Exactly. And personally, I'm a big fan of the 5-minute charts. Why? Because the signals here are simply very clean. And when losses do come in, they are really limited because the candles are usually not that big. And I don't think I need to say much to say that you can already say, okay, we have really good signals here. You can see that from the line alone, which is really very clean, and there are hardly any false signals here. And if there are false signals, they are ones that have been intercepted down here because they were still in neutral territory. I said gray is neutral. Of course, you can also make it yellow or something so that you can see it better, but gray is neutral. In other words, this short would not have been necessary. But here you could have taken a small short, in this case here, and taken a little profits with you. But just as a small example of why to look for coins with high volatility and what to watch out for going forward, and no matter how many small false signals there are, if there are some that have 13% or 10%, if you take the exit into account, then you can have a few small false signals before the profit is gone again. Let's say you can have 10 false signals for one trade. That's like a 1 to 10 risk-reward ratio in that case, or even if it continues here. There was another good signal here, and if we go in here and I pull up here, it's just under 4% again. And that's exactly what I wanted to show you. That was a false signal. That means in this case, it was gray at the bottom. Here it was still green. It wouldn't have worked, and you wouldn't have taken it again. Why? You can already see that. Red line, but it's neutral down here. And it would have told us here that we could be bullish again. And here it would be double bullish confirmation. From this candle back up to the high would have been just under 10% in between. And if you really wait here until everything turns red, you can still get 60 or 6%. I'm always talking 10x now, then it would be 60%. But don't be greedy. Maybe take something out in that case. And now you understand what I mean, how it works. You can also see a new signal here at the moment. That means you could have taken it with this candle. We are now in 15 minutes, but even if they were slightly bullish to neutral in between, that means nothing in this case. If we were to say that we were going to go in here, then we would already have another 1% without leverage. But in that case, and we have to be honest, we would have gone in here because we say everything here was red, everything here was bearish, and that would be just under 2% here now. Whereby Sunday, please note that too. Perhaps very briefly before I go any further, where I wouldn't talk is Sunday, maybe in the evening. I wouldn't talk at all on Saturday. You will see that there are very, very many false signals unless you really have something like here, where you have extremely high pump coins. That's why my recommendation here is really Monday to Friday, when the exchanges are active and so on. You can really trade from dawn to dusk, but you will see if you look at the back test yourself that a lot of false signals come in on Saturdays because the market is very, very quiet. And that's why this is a small recommendation for me or from me, that you don't do that, but really give yourself a bit of rest, time out, and that's it. Let's go back again. Exactly. You now know how it works, what needs to be in place, and what needs to work together. You can set both alerts. By the way, you also have this panel here on the right, and you can see here with the all. If all is sell or strong sell, then you know that everything is correct. Then you know you're heading in the right direction. And if 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, so 1 hour and 4 hours are all sell, then, okay, the market should be really dumping or conversely really pumping. In other words, we're actually interested in what's happening here on the far right with all. We're looking at how things are going down here. We have said that we will get in here. We are already at just under 2.5% as a small example of how this works. Now let's move on very briefly to the smart money concepts, because I would like to show you the last indicator that you can also use. Smart money concepts for those who don't know it. Take a look at my tutorial. I'll link you at the end. I'll show you that. This will be another confirmation indicator because it shows a lot of the chart, which is important. In the settings, I would set in the internal order blocks, I would simply go up to 10. You then simply have a lot more displayed in the chart. Then I would also include the fair value gap, leave it on the chart, and the premium and discount zone. And then you get a lot displayed. Take a look at the tutorial. I don't want to go into too much detail now. All we can see here is that we have our discount zone here and we have new order blocks that would await us here. This means that if the chart breaks through this order block, there is a good chance that we will go down further and test this new order block. I mean the next one here below. And then it just goes on like that. Very often it really just goes up and down from premium to discount zone, premium to discount zone. Now I've kind of given that away, but let's take a small example. You got in here where I just said, and you should have gone down here now to the next one should that happen. And we don't reduce here but become bullish again. That would be 8% here. And that's what I mean here with the confirmations. What you have, what are confirmations? Here you can see the fair value gaps. I explained this in my tutorial. Really take a look at this. This is an incredible indicator that actually shows us structural breaks and tells us which way things are going. But these fair value gaps in particular, when they appear, you know it's going to continue. So 80–90% of the time, when they appear, things continue in the right direction. You can see that there is a red fair value gap here right now. Can you see that? That means there's a really good chance that it will go down further. That's why I think we should perhaps include this as an additional confirmation. There is also a new structural break here, which it indicates with the change of character. But what you still have here is the signs of possible exits, so that you know that you've come this far and no further, and I'd rather take percentages before anything else happens. So a very quick update on a live example. During the video, I explained to you that this was a good place to start. I didn't edit the video now, I just produced it, i.e. recorded it and then went on the road. I thought I'd finish producing it now, but I would still like to include it because everything happened exactly as I said it would, as I would trade it. Unfortunately, I don't have the trade with me. But as a small example, we said that we would take a short position here, or that would be the confirmed short position right here, and this would currently be up 6.36%. With 10x as a trader, I'm not a recommendation, that would already be 63%. You mustn't forget how much that is. And extrapolated to $1,000 or $10,000 trade, that would be $630 or $6,300 in profit. That's why I say that you should look for liquid, highly volatile coins as I showed in the video. And maybe that's the old order block, the bullish one, which disappears as soon as it breaks to the downside, and then it goes on, or in this case, it goes down further. It was confirmed here again with this bearish order block here, also a new bearish order block, which was perhaps very short here, which could panic some people because we went down here and actually had a very strong wick back up here before it went further down. What happened here? Anyone who knows my tutorial from Smart Money Concepts knows that after a structural break, 80% of the time we actually wick downwards and then pick up liquidity again exactly where the structural break was, which is shown here, and then it continues downwards. In that case, of course, that would be ideal. As I said, hey, the first order block, if it's broken, that you already take partial profits here, maybe set the stop loss to break even and then continue the rest, or you say, no, I just want to get a lot out of it. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I'm curious. Tomorrow I'll check again to see if we can get the 8% in that case. But even if not, if we were to close this position now at just under 6.5%, that would be more than ideal. Exactly. Leave me some feedback, push the video a bit, share the video, comment on it, like it, then I'll have a bit more for the algorithm. I want lots of people to see it so that each of you can make as much profit as possible. Thank you very much for watching.